Hello, welcome back, Mystery Seekers, to another episode of Season 4, Lost at Sea. I'm the one telling the story today, Taylor Dahl.
And I'm Nate Doan.
He's the one listening to the story.
I'm listening.
And today I will be telling you the mystery of the Goddard family.
Now, have I heard this one?
I don't think you have.
It's not like a famous one.
I don't know. You said the last one was famous and I'd never heard it, so
that's true.
I mean, these could be, childhood bedtime stories that have been passed down. Okay. I really hope not.
Interesting.
I've never heard any of these. So.
Okay, cool.
Today's episode is actually likely the darkest case I've taken on so far. I mean, it's the darkest case I'll be covering this season at the very least. It centers around the grim fate of the Goddard family. On August 31st, 1999, Dr. Yves Goddard, it's a male, it's French and it's Y-V-E-S. That's how you say Yves.
Oh, okay.
I know, yeah, not how you'd expect it. And another thing I had to get over was Jimmy Neutron lying to me, because the only time I even know the word Goddard is from Jimmy Neutron and it's his dog, so I was researching this for a while, and then all the videos I started to watch, it's pronounced Goddard.
Oh, okay.
And yeah, that made me feel not very smart. Yves Goddard, okay. Dr. Yves Goddard. He was a 43-year-old general practitioner. Him and his family lived in North Brittany, France. So on August 31st, 1999, Dr. Yves Goddard took his 6-year-old daughter Camille and his 4-year-old son Marius on a fishing outing near, I'm gonna love trying to pronounce some of these, by the way, Pont du Jouvigny for the day. He canceled all of his appointments with his office that day, and from what I can tell, his wife, Marie Francis, didn't join them for this fishing trip. From all the accounts that I could find, this is the day before everything goes down. The next day, September 1st, the good doctor had reserved a sailboat named the Nick. I guess over there they just name things, American names, and it sounds really fancy to them. So this boat is called the Nick. They set sail from St. Malo, and they told the man that he had rented the boat from that they'd return on the 5th. So that's the 1st, they'd return on the 5th, 5 days of sailing. He left his van at the dock, along with some cleaning materials that he had bought that morning in St. Malo that were also left in the van. September 2nd, French customs did a routine inspection of the Nick as they're sailing along the coast. They found one child sleeping on the deck, and they didn't see another child. The interaction, they would later say, was suspicious, and it was suspicious enough to make the customs, the agents, call back to the owner of the Nick, and who would back up their story. So it was kind of what are you doing out here? And their story was suspicious enough that they called back to the guy who owned the Nick, and they're like, hey, there's this guy who says he's on your boat. Know anything about this? And the guy was like, yeah, I mean, he's renting my boat.
Yeah.
And they're like, okay, cool, go on your way. After customs check, they apparently cut the engines and continued to sail on from that point on, just with the sails. No, because I guess it has both. So I don't know why. I don't know why that would do that. I don't know why you would change from one to the other after something like that. I have no clue what's going on in this doctor's mind, but he did another kind of suspicious action, which was to cut the engines and continue to sail. Then witnesses place the 3 Goddards, the doctor and his 2 children. By the way, yes, 100%, these are the only 3 that boarded the Nick.
Okay.
His wife is still not coming to the picture. Witnesses placed the 3 Goddards at the Bay of Brihec. Their boat, the Nick, was also spotted docked nearby for the remainder of their planned journey. So from September 2nd, like later on in the day of September 2nd to the 5th, it seems like they sailed to the Bay of Brihec and spent whatever time they spent. The whole family were actually supposedly sold waffles on the 3rd from a waffle vendor. You know your local waffle vendor. So that was on the 3rd. On the day they should have been back in St. Malo, the dinghy that belonged to the Nick,
Yeah.
little like side boat, it was discovered about the same distance it would have taken to get back, but in the opposite direction.
That's impressive.
Eve's belongings were also found, but no sign of the family on the dinghy. So that's when the investigation actually began, because they were supposed to return on the 5th. They didn't show up. 2 days later, on September 7th, the van in Port Malo, it was searched, and that's when they discovered the cleaning supplies that they bought that morning,
Yeah.
along with blood
Oh, okay. Yeah, I was waiting for the blood.
and morphine.
Morphine, okay. That makes sense for a doctor.
He is a doctor. So they dumped the van full of cleaning supplies, blood, and morphine at the docks before they hopped on a boat for 5 days. The next day, on the 8th, large amounts of blood would be found in the master bedroom and bathroom of Eve Goddard.
Whoa.
A week later, it was confirmed that the blood belonged to Marie Francis, his wife.
Yeah.
Over the next 18 years, more and more clues would turn up. Some of them kind of leading towards a resolution, and other ones just steering it the whole other direction.
Yeah.
So September 16th, the same day the blood was identified to be Marie Francis's, a missing life jacket from the Nick was found on the coast of Guernsey, I believe. It's a odd one. September 20th, an inflatable life raft was recovered in South England, badly damaged. Life raft that belonged to the Nick. So this is now, let's see, the 20th, so that's 15 days after they were supposed to be back. October 14th, so another month later.
Yeah.
A witness speaks up on the Isle of Man. Between September 7th to 14th, he said that they stayed in his hotel on the Isle of Man.
Oh.
So he recognized them. So this is 2 days later.
Okay.
He's saying that they came and stayed at his hotel for a week. This is only a month after the incident, so it's probably like in a lot of the newspapers and being covered, so it's not as weird as like the stuff that turns up years later and they're like, no, I think I saw that person that day. It's like, you probably just made, you saw the newspaper and your memory got muddled and you
Exactly, yeah. There's
stitched it all together.
So many cases that go that way, yeah.
So that's an interesting account.
Yeah, okay.
There's nothing else that ever shows that they would have ever been near the Isle of Man. So,
Oh, okay.
moving on from that, because that's just one witness's testimony. January 16th, 2000, so a few months later, a fisherman reeled in a canvas bag filled with Goddard family belongings.
Oh.
Suspiciously, a hammer was amongst the things in the bag. May 2000, his bank account has been untouched so far. June 6th, 2000, a partial skull is drug up in a fisherman's net. He throws it back in the ocean.
Oh. Okay. Thanks.
No.
Thank you for the help.
Very shortly after he throws the partial skull back in the ocean, he reels in a complete skull. Unfortunately, this skull would turn out to be the skull of Camille Goddard, the 6-year-old daughter.
Whoa.
And this was found near the customs check where they'd stopped him on the second day. September 2001, on a random beach, I believe in France, Eve Goddard business cards started turning up, washing up on the beach, apparently.
Wow.
June 3rd and July 31st of 2001, more cards. These are months apart. February
Wow.
and then June, more cards start showing up.
That's distribution, man. He's marketing.
But when they took the cards to investigate them, they had not been submerged long.
Oh.
So it seems like somebody else could have been dumping some of these items.
Interesting. Okay.
September 2006, 7 years after our incident,
Yeah.
they find a femur and a tibia in the English Channel. DNA results showed that the bones belonged to Eve Goddard, evidently dead. And everyone probably
Yeah.
evidently dead.
Yeah.
December 14th, 2008, Eve's insurance card was found at a beach in France in pristine condition. So this case was finally closed on September 14th, 2012.
Wow. It's a while.
13 years after the events, and closed it as a basically a mystery. They concluded this is a mystery.
Wow.
That was their conclusion. They were like, we don't know what happened.
This is one for the Mystery Society.
Yeah, they let us take care of it.
That's how we got this one.
I have some theories.
Okay.
To me, this case seems like it has, at first glance, seems like it has a simple solution.
Yeah.
And that's my main theory, honestly. It goes like this. Either the night of the 30th or the 31st, Eve got into a fight with his wife and wound up killing her with the hammer in their master bedroom and bathroom. And then after that, I assume he did his best to clean up. Probably halfway through realized that was pointless.
Yeah.
Because when they searched the house, there was still a lot of blood in the bathroom and bedroom. Probably panicked. The 31st, so this is what I have trouble deciding. The 31st is when they went fishing with the kids. And so I'm having trouble deciding whether, or figuring out, because I have no clue what happened to Marie Francis on the 31st, because nobody mentions her.
Yeah.
If he killed her the night before, and nobody has mentioned anything about going to the fishing hole. And I'm like, what if he just did it the night before, they went fishing and he dumped her body then when they went fishing.
Right.
And then went out sailing. Nobody anywhere that I've seen has even considered that. Everybody's just like, yeah, 31st they went fishing like a normal day, and then the next day they're out at sea dumping bodies. And I'm like, but have anybody even searched this like pond down in the countryside instead of the, like, I don't think anybody has. So I think that he dumped it during the fishing.
Yeah, okay.
And that's why they even did that, and then canceled all of his appointments. The next day, loaded his kids into a boat, and I don't know if at the time if he was trying to escape with them, like run away, or if his plan was always like murder-suicide.
Yeah.
The morphine, I highly, highly doubt had anything to do with his wife's death, because it seems like it was such a passionate act. Yeah, with the hammer, that seems like such a gruesome, like passionate act that I don't think he drugged her up and then bludgeoned her to death. That doesn't sound likely. I assume that he, even maybe as they're boarding it, before they're boarding it, right after they're boarding it, he's anesthetizing them, and that they are either sleeping or doled down.
Yeah.
And that's my big assumption also on the second day when customs stops them, is that they are seeing a passed out drugged kid on the deck of the floor of the ship, and that's why he's freaking out.
Yeah.
And it's possible he's had been out there one night already. It's possible he already maybe dumped a body. Over the next few days, I just don't know if he's struggled with what to do about his children. His deadline was the 5th. That's when he was renting it to.
Yeah.
He said he'd be back on the 5th.
Yeah.
So he was either trying to make up his mind, or that was the time he had to do his plan. Yeah, but some of the clues are odd though, like the waffle shopping. It reminded me of Timothy Pitson.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Because it seemed like a father maybe who knows he's gonna kill his kids, trying to treat them to some last days of joy or something.
Yeah. Yeah, that reminds me of Timothy Pitson for sure. It reminds me of Chris Watts, that very recent case where that guy killed his wife, and then he killed both of his daughters,
and then tried to blame it on the wife.
Right, yeah, and he hid the bodies and everything. That's what it reminds me of. It's just so sad that like there's so many stories that you could connect together like that. About,
it is really sad,
like, family annihilation.
There shouldn't be that many.
It's so sad.
Yeah, so another huge, maybe kind of a big leap, but I'm wondering if somehow he sunk the Nick.
Yeah,
I didn't really see more. I couldn't really discern the details about the Nick and what happened to the boat itself. I just found all the remnants of all the things, but everyone was like, yeah, it was docked here these days, but then it never said like the Nick was never found, or the Nick was returned to its owner, or like it just says we found the dinghy, we found the lifeboat, we found these broken up pieces, but they never said like the Nick's gone or we think the Nick sunk. So I have no clue what happened to the Nick, honestly, from what I could find. I was wondering if maybe he tried to sink it and try and fake. That could be, if I was being so hopeful, he somehow faked his death.
Yeah.
And maybe escaped to the Isle of Man. I don't know. The bones everybody's like, well, there's bones. And I'm like, okay, yeah, but if you're gonna fake your death, who are the two best people to do it? It's probably either a cop or a doctor. If you're a doctor, like, okay, pay off whoever is examining the bones and say, yeah, tell them these are my bones. Like, how do you get fake bones? He's a doctor.
Yeah, like, yeah, that's true.
I don't think that's impossible for him to have pulled off a femur that's not really his and say, yeah, this is mine, and he maybe did actually kill his whole family and run away.
Yeah, that is an interesting theory.
And that would kind of explain all his business cards and things showing up for years later if he was just slowly getting rid of things.
It doesn't seem like any of the hopeful outcomes are really the right one.
But we can still be hopeful.
We can be hopeful, yeah.
But yeah, this has a very...
Doesn't sound too good though for the Goddard family.
Yeah, that was a darker story to be sure, but I thought it was a very deep mystery to get into, and that's why I chose it. But I really hope you enjoyed it, and we'll see you in our next video, which will be Nate telling us about...
We're going to be talking about the Franklin Expedition, which is the first foray into the search for the mysterious Northwest Passage.
Foray.
Foray.
Nice.
Yeah.
We'll see you then. Bye.
Bye.